Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the story about Naruto. What if Naruto and Ino get arranged married? Part 1, so let's start the video. The 25-year-old Naruto was sitting by a campfire looking at the flames thinking about the past. Ino walked up beside him and took his hand as she sat down and said, so it's finally over. Naruto sighed and said yes, but was it worth it? Ino said, you better than anyone knows that answer. Konoha and Suna are destroyed. All of our friends are dead. And the cause of it all has finally been stopped. Naruto looked at her and said, at least I still have you. Ino leaned forward and kissed him softly on the lips. After they broke apart, Naruto sighed and said, at least we stopped Akatsuki from getting all of the tail demons. Ino said sadly, yeah, they got all of them, but Kyuubi, who was listening to them, said, actually they did not get all of them, but me. Naruto looked confused and Ino asked what's wrong. Naruto said Kyuubi just said that they did not get all of them beside him. Ino said, but I thought that you were the last one free. Kyuubi said the two tail cats they trapped were actually not Nibi, but her sister Cibi. Naruto said, so what do you mean, Fox? Kyuubi said, simple kid, I am telling you that the two tails that they caught were not Nibi, and because of this, I think I can make a deal with you. Naruto said, what does that have to do with anything, and what do you have that I would want anyways? Ino tapped Naruto on the shoulder to get his attention and said, what's Kyuubi saying? Naruto said, Kyuubi is not making any sense. He said the two tail cats they caught were actually Nibi's sister Cibi, and he has some kind of deal. Ino, getting tired of being a loose wheel in the conversation, used her Shintention no Jutsu on Naruto and entered his mind. She walked up to where the Kyuubi was held and saw Naruto standing there. Ino said, what kind of deal? Kyuubi, getting tired of being ignored, said, the kind of damn deal that let you save you stupid friends and that damn village. Before he started panting. After he calmed down, he said, the reason I know Nibi is still alive is because I put her in a special dimension after she nearly died from an attack by Hachibi, the 8-headed snake. I was her mate, and he attacked her to get to me. Ino said, so what is this deal that you are talking about? Kyuubi sat still for a moment looking at Ino and said, what would you be willing to do to save your friends and village? Before Ino could say anything, Kyuubi said, would you still be with the kid here even if all of your friends and possibly your parents left you and the villagers hated you? Ino said, yeah, but I don't see what that has to do with anything. Naruto said, I don't know what is going on here, but I don't like where this is going. Kyuubi said, same for you, kid. Would you really be willing to become what all those idiots in that village called you? Naruto said, you mean a demon? I don't understand. Kyuubi said, to make it simple. I will die when you die. Period. We already know this. What you don't know is that my mate will be forever trapped in the dimension I put her in, forever asleep. I don't want that for her, so I am willing to make a deal with you both. I am willing to send you back to the day you became genin. However, you will have all of your memories and knowledge, but your strength is a different story. Your bodies will change, and you will change, and become stronger. To do this, you both will have to become demons, and merge with the one you are replacing. For you, kid, you will be the new Kyuubi. I will cease to exist. For you know she will become the new Nibi, as she will cease to exist. Me and her will die, and be together in the afterlife. You two will live on forever, or until you are killed, or do what I am proposing. Naruto said, if we become demons, the people of our village will run us out before we even have a chance to explain. Kyuubi said, no, they won't. You see, when we merge you will get all of our memories, and all demons know how to change their looks, so you both will know how to shapeshift to keep people from seeing. And the best part is, until you actually release it, people will see what you wanted to see. Ino said, are there any drawbacks besides becoming an actual demon that we should know about? Kyuubi said, besides you both become the summoned bosses of foxes and cats, not really. The kid will be the boss of all demons, so he will have to deal with a few problems with them. You both will have a mating season though. Ino blushed and said, what's that supposed to mean, exactly? Kyuubi laughed and said, it's simple actually. Once a year you will enter a time where you are in heat, and is the only time you can actually come with a litter of kits. During this time, Naruto will be able to tell by the pheromones you release and become aroused. However, you have final say at that time, but it will be hard to resist for either of you. Naruto said, will the kids be human or demon? Kyuubi said, it would be a demon, but its appearance would be human. It won't start getting its demon looks until it reaches puberty, in which time you have to teach it the shape-shifting skills. Naruto sighed and said, can you give us a little time to talk before we make a decision in private? Kyuubi said, sure kid, I will give you an hour while I get everything ready. Ino released her, and they both came out of their dazes. Naruto said, so what do you think? Ino said, well, I think we should look at pros versus cons. We can go back in time and change stuff to save our village and friends. Naruto said, I know I will be hated, but if you are around me, or they find out the truth, you might be. Ino said, we can stop the sound and Akatsuki. Naruto said, are you sure about this? I mean, I know we have been together for almost a year now, but you remember what life was like back then. You were a fangirl, and I was a loud idiot. Ino sighed. Naruto, I admit I was a fangirl, and treated everyone badly back then. Hell, I lost my best friend over it. But now that I got to know the real you, and not the idiot who hid behind a mask, I say I could live all my life happily by your side. Naruto gave her a hug, and a passionate kiss. After they broke apart, Naruto said, Ino, I know this is stupid, but I want to do this before the changes. Ino, would you when we get old enough again marry me? Ino squealed, and tackled Naruto, and said I would love to. Naruto, as she kissed him, and they rolled around on the ground for a few minutes. After they broke apart from kissing, Naruto said I think we should go see the fox, and say our goodbye. Ino performed her again, and came in front of the cage of Kyuubi, and said okay fox, we got a deal, what do we do? Kyuubi said I just need you, and the kid here to cut both your hands, and let the blood between you mix, as you hold hands. I will channel the chakra into both of you, and have Niba's spirit merge with yours kitten. It will be painful, but you must keep holding hands until you pass out. When you wake up you both will be in your new demon bodies on the day you became genins. Remember this. You won't be able to go back again, so make sure you like what changes you make, and have a happy life. Ino released her, and then she pulled out a kunai, and cut both of her hands. Naruto did the same, but this time Kyuubi did not start healing it. They put their hands together with the fingers intertwined, and red and yellow chakra mixed with blue started forming around the hands. Ino was the first to start screaming, but continued to hold on. A moment later Naruto also started screaming, as the pain hit him also. They screamed until they could not breathe any longer, and passed out still holding hands. Naruto woke on a somewhat soft mattress. He looked around his surroundings, and found himself in his old apartment. He had not lived here since Konoha was destroyed 7 years ago. Naruto sighed, and tried to enter his mind. As he did he found the cage where Kyuubi once was empty. Naruto left his mind, and got out of bed. He noticed that he was shorter than he used to be, but not as short as he was as a kid. He now was 5'9". When he was a kid he was 5'3", and was shorter than everyone else. As he got older he became 6'2". He also noticed that all of his baby fat was gone, and lean muscles were in his place. Naruto went to the bathroom, and looked in the mirror. He could see his fangs were a little longer, with his nails also becoming sharper. His hair had red tips in the end of it, and he had tails. Wait a minute, tails 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 tails. Naruto sighed, and started his normal morning activities. After taking a shower he stood in front of the mirror, and after a minute he had a memory of how shape-shifting entered his mind, and quickly did it. His tails disappeared. His nails and fangs retracted, but he kept the red tips on his hair. He also noticed his eyes were slitted, and he had a tattoo of a ring on his left ring finger. Deciding to leave them he went to his room, and looked for something to wear. After finding that he only had his orange jumpsuit he put it on, and was about to leave when an idea popped in his head. He quickly ran to the bathroom, and tried to change his clothes like he did his body. They quickly changed from his orange jumpsuit to a black shirt, and black ninja pants with his spiral on the back in red. Naruto only had one thought when he saw the change. Cool. Naruto left his apartment after locking it, and started his way toward the school. He saw people staring at him, but he ignored it, just glad everyone was still alive. He thought about going to see Ino, and make sure she was okay, but did not want to cause a problem with her parents yet. He quickly made it to school. As he got there he noticed what would become the Rookie 9. Shikamaru said, what are you doing here, Naruto? This is only for people who passed. Naruto said, I know, look at the head, and figure it's genius. As he walked to the back of the class, and sat down away from everyone. As Naruto sat down Akamaru started barking, and Kiba said, what are you talking about? Akamaru barked some more, and Kiba started sniffing the air, and said, you're right. He does smell like a fox, even more than usual, and what's up with him being taller? Naruto sighed, and said it's called puberty, and, as for me smelling like foxes, I guess I have a natural scent of it. Kiba started to say something when two girls came barreling through the door. Sakura said I will beat Ino, Sasuke is mine. Naruto looked down, and hit his head against his desk. So she did not make it, I guess it was all for nothing, and I am all alone again. Sigh. Ino said, is that why you tried to catch me this morning? I thought you just wanted to race. As she walked into the classroom, and up the stairs. Sakura thought she was trying to get Sasuke, and jumped in the seat by him like an idiot, because Ino just kept walking right on by. Everyone was thinking what's going on. Naruto looked up, as Ino said that to Sakura, and began hoping, and, as she drew nearer he held his breath. Ino stopped in front of Naruto, smiled, and Nibi said hello. Naruto stood up, and gave into a hug, as he swung her around in a circle. Finally setting her back down she smiled, and said I take it you remember, as she waved her left hand in front of her face. Naruto smiled, and said yeah. Before slipping back on his face of an idiot. Ino saw him do it, and said no mask, as she grabbed him, and pulled him into a passionate kiss, as he wrapped his arms around her back, and hers around his neck. Silence except for the sound of purring somewhere in the room. The entire room was sweat dropping at the scene. Hinata fainted. Even poor Iruka who walked in was sweat dropping. Finally they broke apart, and Sakura stormed up to the top of the class, and said, "What the hell are you doing, Ino pig?" Ino looked at her, and said, "Cat actually, but mind your own business, go deal with the bastard." Sakura started to say something, but an Abnu appeared in a dragon mask, and said sorry to interrupt, but the Hokage has decided he needs to change the team setup, and would like the list. Also he would like to see Naruto and Ino about some prank he pulled. Naruto and Ino both stepped toward him, as Iruka handed the Abnu the team lists. As the Abnu put his hands on both of them, they disappeared in a swirl of leaves. The three appeared in the Hokage's office, and Naruto said, "Thanks for the lift, Yamato." The Hokage and the Abnu both stiffened at the name Naruto said, and the Abnu said, "Why did you call me that?" Naruto said simply, "As I am sure the three in an oven in the corner of the room are wondering, as well. You are the only survivor of the Orochimaru test which he implanted the Sharingan Hokage Na into, and you have the ability to restrain demons, and the element of wood." The third said, "Naruto, how do you know this?" Naruto sighed, and said, "It's a long story, and I am sure Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai are all going to get tired by the end of it, so we might as well get comfortable." They in the corner dropped, and all three of them stepped forward, and the third said, "Okay Naruto. Why don't you start, and why do I get the feeling Ino is involved somehow?" Ino said, "Because you are right. Naruto, you take too long to explain, so I will just give them the rundown. Basically Naruto and I made a deal after a bunch of shit happened, and we were sent back to today to try and change what is going to happen." The third said, "That is an interesting idea, but I don't suppose you have any proof." Naruto said, "I got proof, but you have to agree that what you see or hear does not leave this office, especially the council." The third said, "I don't see a problem with that." Naruto said, "The price for us making this deal is simple. Ino, drop it." As he dropped his shapeshift, and suddenly the fangs in his mouth grew, his nails became longer, and 9 tails shot out of his back. Ino was almost the same, but instead of 9 tails she had 2. Everyone in the room tensed, but after a few minutes the third said, "What exactly just happened, and how come Ino changed?" "I can understand you, Naruto, but not her." Naruto said, "Basically what happened is the leaf was destroyed. Ino and I were probably the last 2 leaves to live. Tsunade Bachin, Iro-sanin, Mom, Shino, Kiba, Sakura, Hinata, Nichi, Lee, Tenten, Inari, Rin, Gare, Tamari, Kankuro, Tizana, Tsunami, Brianna, all died along with all of you over the next 13 years. The third said, "Naruto, I'm curious, why did you not add Sasuke into the list you said died?" Ino said, "As she had her tail playing with Naruto's, that bastard should be killed for what he did. It's his fault most of our friends died, him, that snake freak, and Akatsuki." Naruto said, "Ino, calm down please." Ino sighed, and crossed her arms, and Naruto said, "So what do you want to know?" The third said, "So you mind telling me why you both look like that?" Naruto said, "Basically the only way for us to do this, and get a second chance was for Kyuubi and Nibi to die, and in the process be replaced. I don't know all the details except the Kyuubi that attacked the leaf is now dead. I am the new Kyuubi. Kyuubi's mate Nibi, who is not the same one in our dimension, is dead, and Ino is the new Nibi." Kakashi said, "Naruto, why would you do that, and what will happen to Kyuubi from now on?" Naruto said, "Call a family tradition, putting the needs of others before our own. As for the Kyuubi from now on, the seal is empty." Everyone looked at him weird except the third, and he said, "So I take it, you know who your dad was then?" Naruto said, "Yeah, Mom told me who he was, who both my grandparents are, and why they are not here right now before she died. If you were not dead I would have decked you at that moment, old man, but you died by pulling the same stunt Dad did, except it was against the snake bastard, and was in vain." Kakashi said, "Naruto, if you don't mind me asking, who are your parents?" Naruto sighed, and looked at the third, and the third said, "It's your choice." Naruto said, "I am the son of Arashi Kazama and Shizune Kazama. My grandparents are Tsunade and Jiraiya. Basically I am the descendant of the Sharingan, Nidaime, Yodiame, and Godaime Hokage." Kakashi looked at the third, and said, "You told me he died during the attack. How could you not tell me I am his godfather?" Kakashi was interrupted by Naruto, and said, "Relax Kakashi-sensei, he told Mom, and both my grandparents the same thing. They only found out after I had to have major surgery after 3 Chidori's hit me, and they needed a blood donor." Kakashi stopped, and asked, "Who hit you with a Chidori, and why?" Naruto sighed, and said, "I have been hit with that damn more times than I can count, thanks to the bastard Sasuke before, and after the snake took over." Yamato said to Naruto, "I have a question if you don't mind. Are you both half or full now?" Naruto said, "Full, that was the price." The third said, "I am curious about something about Naruto. You said you are a descendant of the Godaime Hokage. Who is that going to be?" Naruto said, "Tsunade will become the Godaime after I convince her to change her opinion of Konoha." The third said, "How did you convince her?" "I have been trying for a few years now." Naruto said, "Well, after you died, me and Iro-sanin went to look for her, and I have the opposite luck of her. I completed the first 2 steps in 3 weeks, and mastered the 3rd step of Rasengan in a week, which caused me to win a bet." Kakashi said, "You know the Rasengan. Can I see it?" Naruto said, "Can it wait until we are in the open, because I don't know how well this new body's control is yet, so I don't want to blow up this office." Kakashi nodded. The third sighed and said, so what do you both have planned? Ino said, we know about the major stuff that is going to happen, the war, defection, Akatsuki. Asuma said, several times now you have mentioned Akatsuki, who are they? Naruto sighed as he rubbed his eyes and said, the worst enemy you could ever face. Between Sana and us we lost 2/3 of our villages to those bastards before we stopped them. The cost was too much. They failed to get the last piece they needed to win. Me. Kurama said, what is it they wanted with you, and why could they not get it, if they were so tough? Ino said, Naruto went from genin to level before they could capture him, and take Kyuubi from him like they did the other 8-tailed beasts, including Nippi's sister Cibi, who is in a vessel now. The third said, what are they planning on doing with Naruto? Naruto said originally they wanted to release a 10-tailed demon that was sealed by the other 9 ages ago. After the timeline passed, and they could not take Kyuubi, they started using the demons as puppets, and used them to attack different villages. They each were sealed into a ring that each of the members carried. Kakashi asked, do you know who they are? Naruto looked at Ino, and Ino said, Itachi Uchiha of the Leaf, Kisame Hoshigaki of the Mist, Tadara of the Rock, Zetsu of the Grass, Haiden of the Rain, Kakuzu of the Waterfall, Tobi, Sasori of the Red Sand of Suna. Orochimaru was once a member, and still has his ring, the leader. And also some other guy we never got any data on. Asuma dropped his cigarette, as Yamato said, you just named most of the top 20 people in the bingo book. Naruto said, I know, and they are all pain in the asses. Anyways, what are you planning now, old man? Don't forget that you still got the rest of the rookie 9 waiting in class for team placements. The third sighed, and said, I am going to have to talk to you both later, but for now I think I should change the lineup. Any preference? Naruto said, only request I have, is to let me still be with Sasuke. That way when the snake bastard comes I can try, and kill him, and maybe stop the war. Ino said, if you are doing a request, I would like to be put on Naruto team also, only for the fact that until the retrieval mission only eats, and Shikamaru who became a chunin took being a ninja serious after almost losing everyone on the retrieval mission. And took up smoking after sensei died left his unborn child. Looking at Kurama and Asuma with a smirk. The third said, I agree Naruto has to be with Sasuke, but I don't want to change teams, since it means more paperwork, and also might change too much. Naruto started changing back into his new human form, and Ino did the same. The third said, I guess you should head back to class, and keep everything a secret, as best as you can. Please take them back, and if anyone asks tell them they wanted to know if we knew anything about the flowers with paint bombs that hit the Hokage's office. Yamato placed his hands on both, and all 3 disappeared. The third looked at the 3 who were still in his office, and said, what do you think? Kurama, still blushing from the baby crack, said, I think they were telling the truth. The third said, so do I just don't know what to do about it. They did not seem to want to tell too much about the future. They mentioned a war, but never said when it would do. They mentioned Sasuke and Orochimaru, but not what, and they mentioned about all of us, and the leaf being destroyed, but not when or where. Kakashi said, I just wonder if both of them realize what they put themselves in for. How do you think Ino's parents are going to react? The third said, I want a little more detail from them, so I have a plan. I want you to bring both of them here after the team meeting, and I will have Inoichi here also. That is all dismissed. Naruto and Ino both appeared with the avenue, as the class was all sitting and talking, but stopped when they got there. Naruto said, man, I can't believe they thought it was me, and you pulled that prank in the Hokage's office. Ino said, I know. Just because someone delivered flowers to his office, and put paint bombs in it, they think that it was you, and since my family is the only flower shop in town I had to be involved. Yamato handed the list back to Iruka trying not to laugh, and left before he did. Iruka sighed, and said, okay class, sorry about the wait. Team 1 is Team 7 is Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke. Sakura started cheering while Naruto looked back at Ino, and smiled a sad smile. Iruka sighed, and said Team 8 is Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. Team 9 is still in service, so Team 10 is Ino, Choji, and Shikamaru. Your instructors should be here shortly. And with that he left. Naruto got up, and sat down on the windowsill. Ino got up, and headed over to Naruto, only to be stopped by Sakura who said, so Ino, you, and the idiot are a couple now. I guess my charm has finally proven that Sasuke is mine. Ino looked at Sakura, and said, Sakura, we're not kids anymore. Grow up, and open your eyes. The world doesn't revolve around Sasuke, and, as for Naruto, if you have not figured it out I am not telling you. And with that she walked to Naruto, and sat with her back against his chest, as they both looked out the window, and the mysterious purring sound started again. Naruto chuckled a little, and said in a whisper, if I didn't know better I swear that with the purring you are doing you were happy. Ino smiled, and said I am. Naruto said, well at least this cat is better than Tor. Ino looked at him, and said now that is a true demon cat there. Kiba said, man, what is going on today? First Naruto looks different, and smells of foxes. Now Ino looks a little different, and smells of cats. Sakura could not believe what she was hearing. Sasuke smirked at this, and walked over to Naruto, and said, hey Ino, why are you hanging out with the dope when you could walk home with me today? Ino looked from the window at Sasuke and said, "Why would I want that? You got nothing to offer me." Sasuke became pissed and drew his arm back to punch Ino, but his punch was stopped by Naruto's hand, and he said to Sasuke, "Sometimes I can't figure you out. You can have almost any woman you want, but when one decides she doesn't want you, you become jealous and decide to try and take the person away from who she is with. I know your clan was nothing but thieves, but come on. Do you really have to be a woman stealer also?" Sasuke became enraged and said, "What idiot do you know about my clan?" Naruto sighed and said, "Beside the fact that you have a bloodline that steal most, was once the police for this city, killed by your brother Itachi, with the final level of the Sharingan after he killed his best friend, and made you watch it over and over again with the from the Sharingan. Almost nothing." Sasuke tried to kick Naruto, who was still sitting up against him, when Naruto used a replacement on both of them, and Sasuke hit a desk that was in their place now. Suddenly the door opened to the class, and Asuma and Kurenai came in. "Team 10 and 8 come with us," Kurenai said. Ino started moving to the door, but Naruto grabbed her hand and said, "Meet me at the memorial stone later." Ino nodded before leaving. Sasuke hated to admit it, but he hurt his leg on the desk he kicked, so he sat down and acted like the pretty bastard he is. Sakura sat down next to him, and Naruto decided to get some training done to test his body. He walked to the wall in front of the class and put his hands in the ram sign before starting to climb the wall. Once he made it up the wall, he went to the ceiling and started walking upside down on it. Sakura was amazed, and Sasuke was pissed because he did not know how to do it. Sakura wanted to try it, but did not want to ruin the moment she had with Sasuke. An hour later, Sasuke and Sakura were still sitting, and Naruto was doing push-ups on the ceiling. Sakura finally got bored and said, "So Naruto, how long have you and Ino been together?" Naruto, still doing push-ups, said, "Somewhere between a day and a lifetime depending on how you look at it." Sakura said, "You don't make any sense. Anyways, what are you doing up on the ceiling anyways?" Naruto said, "Well, this is a standard Genin chakra control exercise called tree climbing, but instead of doing it with just the feet, I try to do it to the whole body. Better for you." Sakura said, "So how do you do it?" Naruto smirked and said, "Well, it's simple actually. Anyone who passes the Genin test can go to the library or ask any ninja how. All you have to do is channel chakra to your feet and start climbing. Too much and you blow off, too little and you fall off. But before you try it, Sakura answers me a question." Sakura said, "Okay, sure." Naruto flipped in midair and landed on his feet on the ground below before walking to Sakura and saying, "You know that you have almost perfect chakra control, right?" Sakura nodded, and Naruto said, "Do you know why you do that?" Sakura thought for a moment and said, "Actually, I don't. Do you?" Naruto said, "Yeah, I learned this when I was taught this, so don't be mad at me, okay? Almost all female ninja have great chakra control because they have smaller reserves than male ninja. That's why most females are Hermetic type ninja. Male ninja have more chakra but less control and have to work harder. That's why they are more ninjutsu type ninja. Do not think I am saying women are weak or anything. Let's take Tsunade for example. She is a famous medic nin, but she also is the strongest person in the world because she worked on her weakness of low chakra and made it big enough to use in battle or save lives." Sakura thought about what he said and asked, "So you're saying that I have to work on my weakness of low chakra? How do I do that?" Kakashi appeared at the door and said, "Actually, I was showing you how to do it. Every time you work on chakra control exercises like tree climbing, your reserves get a little bigger. The more you work, the more you have, and the harder your control gets, so you have to work even more to keep it at the level you're at. But you can figure that out later. Team 7, meet me on the roof," and with that he left. A few minutes later, Team 7 was sitting in front of Kakashi, and he said, "Okay, how about introductions, likes, dislikes, dreams for the future?" Sakura said, "Why don't you go first to show us how it's done?" Kakashi sighed and said, "My name is Kakashi, my dislikes are none of your business. My hobbies are not for children, and my dream is to meet Rin again and have my favorite book collection signed by the author." Naruto smacked his hand against his head. Kakashi looked amused and said, "Okay, head trauma, you first." Naruto sighed and said, "My name is Naruto Uzumaki," and he mouthed Kazama. "My likes are my friends, Ino, Raymond, and certain Grand Fatally books." Look at Kakashi. "My dislikes are traitors, thieves, stuck-up snobs who think they are better because they were born from clans. My dreams for the future is making the leaf a better place, removing all cursed seals like the caged bird and heaven earth seals, protecting the leaf with my life, and someday starting a family or maybe finding mine if they are still alive. Also, I might help a certain pervert meet his 15-year-old daughter." Looking at Kakashi. Kakashi was thinking, is he talking about me? If I have a daughter, I will find out. Okay, Pinky, you next. Sakura said, "My name is Sakura, I like looking at Sasuke. My dislikes are, actually I don't know now. My dreams of the future are looking at Sasuke and squeals." Kakashi said, "Okay, stop right there. Sakura, why do you want to be a ninja?" Sakura looked at him and said, "I want to do it so I can show I am perfect for someone." Looks at Sasuke. Kakashi sighed and said, I am going to tell you what my sensei told my female roommate. Grow up and quit thinking about some boy you want to impress. If you want to be a ninja, be a ninja. If you want to be a fangirl, hand me your headband now, and go home now. Sakura said, but Kakashi said no buts. Listen, if you are so preoccupied with being a fangirl you won't be able to help save your teammate's life. Take care of this problem now, or I will remove you from Team 7. Now Mr. Birdie, you turn. Sasuke smirked and said, my name is Sasuke Uchiha. I don't have any likes or dislikes. I don't have a dream, just an ambition to kill someone and restore my clan. Kakashi sighed and said, same goes for you, Mr. Birdie. I know you want to kill your brother, but to do it you are going to have to work on it. If you think you're going to get special treatment then you are wrong. I will treat you the same as Naruto or Sakura if you all pass my test tomorrow. Meet me at the Memorial Stone tomorrow at 5 AM, and don't eat, or you will puke. Naruto. The Hokage wants to see you again about itching powder in the ABNU uniforms. Naruto sighed and said, when I find this prankster, I will show him who the king of pranks is. And with that both Kakashi and Naruto disappeared. Sakura started to chase after Sasuke, but stopped when she remembered what Kakashi said. What did I really become a ninja for? And with that she walked home. Sasuke left to try and learn tree climbing. He was not going to let the dope outdo him. When Kakashi and Naruto married Ino, her mom, Inoichi, Asuna, Kurenai, and the third were already there. The third said, Kakashi, I swear, you are going to be late for your own funeral. Anyways, the reason I brought you back here is because I need more info on what you said earlier, and some proof. I want Inoichi here to enter one of your minds, and let's see what you claim. Do you agree? Naruto sighed and said, fine, I agree, but I request info goes in with him since she's been there before and knows her way around. My mind is like a maze and is easy to get lost in. Enough said, Ino. I don't understand what's going on, but we are going to talk after this about entering people's minds. Naruto said to Inoichi, sir, I think you should wait until you see what the Hokage and I are referring to before you jump to conclusion. I guess I am as ready as I can be. As he sat down in a chair. Ino and her dad both sat across from him before doing that and reappeared in front of the empty cage of Kyuubi. Inoichi started looking around and Naruto appeared in his tailed form. Naruto said, oh, I see you already made it. Well, this is where Kyuubi once lived. Inoichi looked at Naruto and said, what do you mean once lived, and what are you doing here? It should be impossible for you to be here when we do this, and what is with the tails? Naruto said, anytime anyone enters my mind I am automatically pulled in, as a safety device to protect the seal when Kyuubi was here. As for where he is now, the Kyuubi that attacked our village is dead now. As for the tails, it was sort of the price for me, and Ino had to do what we did. Ino sighed, as she changed into her two-tailed form, and said, this way, Dad. I guess the best place to start would be the Sand Sound War. Don't you agree with Naruto? Inoichi saw his daughter change, and said, what are you talking about in the Sand Sound War? There is not even a sound village, as far as I am aware of, and Ino, why do you have tails now? Ino said, in order for this to happen we both had to replace the demons that died. Naruto became the new Kyuubi, and I became the new Nibi. I am still me, but it was the price to save our homes, friends, and family. Ino led the group down into the maze of Naruto's mind until they came to his memories. They showed him about Orochimaru, Sasuke, and the Shukaku. Enough said, how is this possible? Naruto said, it is possible because Ino and I both came back from about 13 years in the future to try and change the past for us. Enough said, how? Naruto said, I guess I can either show the last few minutes before we come back or just explain it. Your choice. Enough said, show me please. Naruto sighed and led them to his last set of memories. Naruto was standing in front of white door and a gold door was next to it. Naruto said, this should be the door since it was a little good. Inoichi looked at the white door Naruto was pointing to, and said, do you mind if I look at that memory first? I have never seen a gold door before. Pointing to the gold door. Naruto said, sure. Ino looked and turned pale, and said to Naruto, I don't think that's a good idea. I think I know what's behind that door, and I don't want that known right now. Enough said, Ino, I don't know what you are hiding, but I am definitely looking now. And so he went and opened the door. Inoichi saw. Ino released her, and they both came out of their dazes. Naruto said, so what do you think? Ino said, well, I think we should look at pros versus cons. We can go back in time and change stuff to save our village and friends. Naruto said, I know I will be hated, but if you are around me or they find out the truth you might be. Ino said, we can stop the sound and Akatsuki. Naruto said, are you sure about this? I mean, I know we have been together for almost a year now, but you remember what life was like back then. You were a fangirl, and I was a loud idiot. Ino sighed. Naruto, I admit I was a fangirl, and treated everyone badly back then. Hell, I lost my best friend over it. But now that I got to know the real you, and not the idiot who hid behind a mask, I say I could live all my life happily by your side. Naruto gave her a hug and a passionate kiss. After they broke apart, Naruto said, Ino, I know this is stupid, but I want to do this before the changes. Ino, would you when we get old enough again marry me? Ino squealed and tackled Naruto and said I would love to Naruto. As she kissed him, and they rolled around on the ground for a few minutes. After they broke apart from kissing, Naruto said I think we should go see the fox and say our goodbye. Inoichi looked at the two kids behind him and said oh boy. I think I need a drink. I've seen enough, let's go back. And with that they all left Naruto's mind. Inoichi sighed as he looked at Naruto and Ino. The third said, so, what did you see? Enough said more than any father wanted his daughter, but if what I saw is a sample of what's to come, we need all the help we can get. Do they know about the changes? Naruto said yeah. They already know about our demon status. If you want to blame anyone, blame me. I hope you won't hate Ino for it. She still is the same person. Enough said I suppose I can live with it, but I do have one question. Are you both still planning on that last memory? As he reached for his kunai holster. Naruto started sweating, and yeah, if she will still have me that is. Ino stepped in front of her dad and said leave my fiancé alone dad. Inoichi sighed and said I don't even get to scare him to take care of my little girl. Damn it. Where's the fun of having a son-in-law if you can't scare the hell out of him? The third chuckled and said so I take it the Kazama clan will be returning to the leaf sooner than I thought huh? Inoichi looked at the third and said Kazama clan. I thought Arashi was the no, you don't mean to tell me. Naruto stood up and said let me properly introduce myself, sir. Naruto Uzumaki Kazama. Son of Arashi and Shizune Kazama. Grandson of Tsunade and Jiraiya of the legendary three. Inoichi looked at Naruto and said, as he looked to the third, is he messing with me? The third sighed and said no, he is telling the truth about everything. But the ones from now don't know Naruto is related to them, because I told them after the sealing, that Arashi's son died to protect him from his father's enemies. By the time word spread about the sealing I could not risk telling the truth of his lineage. Inoichi laughed and said you know Tsunade and Shizune will probably kill you right? Ino's mom said I don't think bad about Naruto, but Ino knows about that. Ino said mom. I guess I better go ahead and show you so don't freak out. Naruto, would you do it too? Naruto nodded and both transformed again into their tailed forms. Ino mom gasped and said Ino dear, what happened? Ino said the only way for us to come back in time like we did was for us to replace Kyuubi and Nibi. Ino's mom said I know who is, but who is Nibi? Ino said Nibi is the two-tailed cat demon. I am the new Nibi. Naruto became the new Kyuubi, and the old ones are in the afterlife forever. Enough said so exactly what does it mean for you both now? Naruto said basically we can't die from old age. Our bodies are stronger, have more chakra, better senses, and I became the king over all demons, and became the summon boss for the foxes. Ino became the boss of the cats. The third said so let me get this straight. You both are the boss summons, and can be called by anyone who signs correctly. Naruto said, that is what was explained to us. The third thought for a moment, and said this is a very interesting turn of events. Have you already talked to your summons about it? Naruto said not yet. We only arrived today, because it was the easiest spot to start from. Especially with the snake bastard spies here in the village. The third nodded and said, I would like to request that you keep the summoning a secret with anyone except those you trust with the truth. Naruto nodded and said I request that no one mentions Ino period, because with that group coming after me, I don't want them to actually get their hands on her instead of CP. Enough said what are you talking about now, if you don't mind me asking? Naruto said 9S class criminals want to rule the world, and wind up destroying most of it, by using the power of demons they are capturing. It's common knowledge that I had. It's not known about Ino. Let a perverted giggle, and said so when's the wedding? Naruto said we will have to set a date later. God I will be glad when Rin and Brianna get her. Ino snickered, and said me too. Poor copycat Kakashi can't be late or read his books, or else his daughter uses the 1000 years of death on him with a. Kakashi quickly put his book away, and said to spill it. Where are they, and why have I not met my daughter? Naruto sighed, and said all I can tell you is that they will meet you, when we start a new village called Seedling in Wave Country a few years from now. As for why you don't meet them. Rin has a disease right now that has weakened her, and your daughter can't leave her side. Sakura will cure her later in life. As for not sending you a letter or asking for help. She is just too damn proud to let you see her like she is now. Sorry. Speaking of waves. A mission with a client named Tizana is coming up. I request that mission, sir. It's a C-rank tourney. I might be able to get us 2 good ninjas if you would grant them a pardon. The third said really. Who might these ninja be, and how good are they? Naruto said Momochi Zabuza, and his apprentice Haku. Haku has a bloodline to control ice, and is skilled in the use of acupuncture and medicine, and Zabuza was set up sir for his crime against Mist. Kasami killed the son, so he ordered the death of all 7 of the Mist swordsmen. Zabuza attacked them after he ordered their deaths. The third thought for a moment, and said if you can get them I will grant it, as long as they do not permanently hurt or kill any of our ninjas. Naruto smiled, and said thanks old man. The third sighed, and said it's getting late, and I need to rest, and think. Dismissed. Ino looked over, and kissed Naruto, and whispered I love you. Naruto smiled, and whispered I love you also. Everyone started to leave, and Inoue walked over to Naruto and said, "If you hurt her, I will kill you." Ino? Dad? The next day Naruto got to his team training ground at 5 AM like Kakashi said, but he did eat this time. When he got there he noticed Sakura sitting there, but she had dark rings under her eyes like she was up all night. Naruto walked over and said hi. Sakura looked up at him and sat in peace for a few minutes. Finally Sakura asked Naruto why he wanted to become a ninja in the first place. Naruto sat there for a moment and said, "I have not had the best of lives here, because I have not known my parents like most people, and had to learn by myself what life is really like. I have seen the best of the world and the worst. I wanted to be a ninja, so that others won't have to live through what I did. My dream is to protect what is truly precious." Tell me about Sakura. Do you know what it is to be truly strong? Sakura said, "You mean to be able to break boulders, trees, and stuff like that with their hands? Then yes. Why?" Naruto sighed and said, "No Sakura, that's not what I meant. In every other country, but ours, they believe ninjas are nothing but tools. Here we have a different outlook on that point. We believe that ninja are as important as anyone else, and they are precious to each of us." Someone once summed it up to me as a simple sentence that I have taken to heart. You can only become truly strong when you are protecting what is most precious to you. When you are doing that, you will find a way to do what must be done, so that even if you died, those that you left behind will be able to continue on for you, because even if you are alone on a battlefield, your precious person or place is still there. Those here today, and the ones from tomorrow. Sakura looked at Naruto like he had a second head, and was awed by his speech. She sat there quietly for a few minutes, and said, "I think you have just helped me solve what I want to be a ninja for, thank you." Naruto said, "I hope so, and I hope you always remember that saying, because someday you may have to put the needs of those of the village before the needs of yourself. Remember that we are a team now, no matter what happens elsewhere, but we are also ninjas of the Hidden Leaf, and we must work together to ensure our village has a future." Sakura said, "So when did you become so wise?" Naruto said, "I have always been wise, it's book smarts I have been stupid with. You cannot really judge a ninja by book knowledge, because if your enemy has read the same thing as you, then they will know how to defeat you. You remember my prank on the monument?" Sakura shook her head, and Naruto said, "I did that for training." Sakura asked, "Training?" Naruto said, "How hard do you think it is to get by security, paint something in clear view, then escape, and lead 4 Avenue, and 8 around the village for 3 hours in a wild chase?" Sakura thought for a moment, and said, "I still don't see how that is training." Naruto said, "That's what I was talking about earlier. You are the biggest book smart of our class, but I am not picking on you. What I mean, as training is stealth, speed, stamina, chakra control, infiltration, and trap skills. I worked on stamina, speed, and chakra control, outrunning the people chasing me, and stealth, trap skills, and infiltration with my actual pranks." Sakura thought for a minute, and said, "I can actually see that working. Why are you telling me this?" Naruto thought for a moment, and said, "We are teammates now, and we have to work together, and support each other. I am strong, you are smart, and Sasuke is a combo of both, but no one of us can hope to defeat a stronger person if we don't work together, and support each other. Also, I think that you and Ino should try, and work out your friendship." Sasuke showed up, and looked like he had no sleep, and sat down against a log. Naruto decided to try his chakra control, so he got up, and said, "Sakura, Sasuke. You both look like you are dead tired, so why don't you both get some sleep? I am going to work on my chakra control for a little bit on the stream over there, and will wake you when Kakashi gets here. I doubt he will be here for a couple of hours if yesterday was any indication." Sakura smiled, and mowed thank you, and laid against a tree, and tried to sleep. Sasuke just humped and smirked as he leaned against a tree. Naruto walked over to the stream, and started gathering chakra to his feet before he took a step out onto the water, and slowly got the control right. He was thinking, this new body is great. My control has gone up a lot, and I feel stronger, but I don't know how much stronger. I suppose I can find out later, let's see how long I can keep this up. Sasuke saw Naruto walking on water, and became enraged again that the dope did something else he could not. He sat there, and stared at Naruto walking on water. Suddenly 10 more Narutos appeared, and also started walking on water, and 10 more started tree climbing. 3 hours later Kakashi showed up, and found Sakura sleeping, Sasuke looking ready to kill with a twitch in his eyebrows, and 21 Narutos were working on water walking or tree climbing. Kakashi smirked beneath his mask, and said, "Okay Naruto, cancel the clones, and come over here." Sakura woke up. Sakura woke up, as Naruto walked back, and Naruto asked, "Feel better?" Sakura just nodded, and said, "Sakura, before we began, why do you want to be a ninja?" Sakura thought for a moment, and said, "To protect that which is precious. Naruto helped me open my eyes to that this morning, and I understand it now." Kakashi smiled, as he looked at Naruto, and said, "Okay team. This is your test. I have 2 bells. You have until noon to get them from me. The one who does not will be sent back to the academy. Come at me with intent to kill. Begin." All 3 disappeared. Suddenly Naruto appeared, and smirked, as he ran at Kakashi. Kakashi sighed and ducked under a kick and said, "You should never let an enemy get behind you. 1,000 years of death." As he stuck his finger in Naruto's butt. Just as he did, the Naruto in front of him exploded and blasted him into the air. The real Naruto appeared above him and said Bunshin Daibakuhu Uzumaki combo as he kicked Kakashi back toward the ground. Kakashi replaced himself with a log as he hit the ground. Naruto disappeared again after he landed and hid in the trees. Sakura ran up to Naruto and told Naruto to stop. "I figured out the test. Remember what you said this morning? We are a team. That is a test. Teamwork. Let's find Sasuke." Naruto smiled inwardly as he followed Sakura to where they could hear fighting. When they found Sasuke, Kakashi was standing over him and his head was above ground. Sakura said to Naruto, "You distract Kakashi while I get Sasuke." "Okay." Naruto nodded and created 25 clones, and they all changed into Jia with copies of Icha Icha Paradise in their hands and started screaming, "Kakashi, my eternal rival. I have unlocked the way to pass the springtime of youth across the world. Join me, as we will spread the passion of youth to the world." Kakashi, seeing 26 Jias charging at him, took off running. One of the G clones stopped chasing him and ran back to Sakura and Sasuke and released the henge. Sakura said, "Please tell me those eyebrows were exaggerated." Naruto said, "You wish. I saw them yesterday," and Kakashi did everything he could to run from him. Sakura said, "At least we don't have to worry about someone our age." Naruto said to Sakura, "He had a mini with him yesterday." Sakura thought for a moment before screaming and fainting. Kakashi reappeared wearing a green spandex suit like Jia and said, "Naruto, you are a dead man," and charged at Naruto. Naruto sidestepped and tripped Kakashi. Sasuke took the distraction and tried to get the belts only to miss and got his belt instead. But Kakashi falling and his belt stopping, Kakashi lost his pants and had Icha Icha Paradise boxers on. Sakura woke up and saw Kakashi and screamed pervert before inner Sakura took over and started beating the hell out of Kakashi. Naruto leaned over and grabbed the belts and handed one to Sasuke and said, "Sakura here," as he handed her the belt. Naruto then reached into Kakashi kunai holster and pulled out his Icha Icha Paradise Volume 14 and said, "Come on, let's go back to the training logs while we wait for him to wake up." Sasuke and Sakura followed Naruto, who was reading the book, as they went back to where they started. Sakura said to Naruto, "How can you stand to read that stuff?" Naruto looked at her and said to Sakura, "I admit I am a little perverted, but I only think about one woman who I hope I can live the rest of my life with. I am sure you just don't want to admit you have the entire collection at home." Sakura looked red-faced and said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Naruto said, "Well, still reading that, if by some chance I could get a hand on a signed copy of all the books from the author, you would not want it." Sakura started twitching and said, "I do not have to dignify an answer to that." Naruto said, "That's a good scene, but Icha Icha Paradise Volume 16 is better." Sakura said, "There is no Volume 16. Naruto said, "Not impressed yet, but I have already read the unedited version of it." Kakashi appeared and said, "Is it as good as number 9? Naruto said 9 was good, but the slip goddess beat the hell out of him, so he had to edit that one. 16 is better because he got the Wind Mistress and the Red-Eyed Warrior going into a threesome with the hero of the story." Kakashi sighed and said, "Well, you all passed because you all had teamwork. Remember this though. Those who follow the rules are trash. Those that leave their friends behind are worse than trash. Can I have my book back now, Naruto?" Naruto said, "Yeah, here you go. If I can, I will get you and Sakura both a signed copy for your collections, if I see him," as he hands Kakashi his book. Kakashi giggled like a skullgirl before he left in a puff of smoke. Sakura turned her back to Sasuke and said, "Mouth thank you," as she turned back to Sasuke and said, "Sasuke, can I walk home with you?" Sasuke walked away and said no. Naruto saw Sakura get sad and said, "Hey Sakura, if you want you can come with me to find Ino." Sakura smiled and said, "Thanks Naruto, but I am tired so I will go home for now. I will think about what you said earlier." And she left. Naruto started to leave, but his senses caught the smell he was coming to like, as he saw Ino heading toward him from town. Naruto ran to her, hugged her, gave a kiss, and said, "Did you pass again?" Ino said same, as last time. Shika used his shadow to stop him. Choji became a distraction, and I took over his body, and got his SIGs. Yours the same. Naruto said, "Actually no. We passed, but this time I gave Sakura enough clues to figure it out, and I even helped her start seeing what it really means to be a ninja. I think she might come see you soon to try being friends again." Ino smiled, and said that would be good. "So have you been getting any of his memories?" Naruto said, "I have gotten a few, but not many. Most of them come when I am trying to figure something basic out. I don't think he had very much knowledge of it. He does have a few since I can tell he transformed into a human before, but I don't know much. What I can tell is he was mostly raw power." "What about you?" Ino said, "Basically the same, but that's fine. We don't have to worry about not being us." "You're hungry?" "I got a sudden craving for seafood." Naruto smiled and said, "I know one thing you are probably going to love. I found all demons love ramen." remember Gar and me? Ino said, how can I forget? 110 bowls between the two of you, and Gar stuck his with the bill. As she started to laugh, as they walked toward Ichiraku. As they walked they saw people giving Naruto the looks, and a few sent toward Ino. Naruto sighed, and said hate news always spreads the fastest. Ino grabbed his hand, and said just ignore them. They can't do anything about it now. So when do you think people will learn your real name? Naruto said I don't know. Probably after I go get mom and my grandparents. Ino said so how are you going to tell them about you? Naruto said I will cross that bridge, when I get to it. They continued in silence for a few minutes until they got to Ichiraku. When they sat down Am said oh, Naruto it's good to see you again, and who is this, your girlfriend? Naruto said it's good to see you again, Am. This is. Ino said since Naruto trusted you and your dad, can you both come here? Naruto shot her a questioning look, and she squeezed his hand. Am nodded, but was curious, and went, and got her dad. Nobody else was there because they left when Naruto arrived. A few moments later Ichiraku came, and said so what is it you need to see me about? Ino said your daughter wanted to know if I was Naruto's girlfriend, and since you both know about his situation, and respected him, I wanted to show my respect to you. This is a secret to only a select few, but he is my fiancé. As she showed her hand, and they saw the ring tattoo on her finger, and saw Naruto had a matching one. Am had hearts in her eyes, and Ichiraku smiled, and said the Ramen gods have smiled on you boy. So what would you like? I will refer to you as a couple until it becomes public knowledge, okay? First bowl is in the house. Naruto smiled, and said 10 miso for me. Ino said I will take 1 seafood with extra meat please. Am said no problem, as her dad returned to cooking. A few minutes later their order was done, and they started to eat. Ino said Naruto, I hate to admit it, but you were right about Ramen. Naruto smiled, and said, it calms the savage beast. Ino punched him in the arm, and said I am not savage. I am refined. Naruto chuckled, and said I agree. As he finished eating. After they ate, they went back to Team 7 training ground, and Naruto said well, I think we should start seeing how good these bodies are. Ino nodded, and she started practicing her katas from her fighting style she picked up when she was older. Naruto started off by trying to form a Rasengan. He was able to make it no problem. He then put his hands in a seal, and said Tajikage Bunshin no Jutsu, and 1000 clones appeared. Ino stopped, and said, Naruto, can you teach me that? Naruto said sure, just let me get them started. Okay I want half of you to do tree climbing, and the other half water walking. Go until I dispel you or you run out of chakra. All the clones started practicing, and Naruto turned to Ino, and said the only seal is put your hands like this, and focus your chakra into it. The more chakra the more clones. I will tell you now. Anything a clone does you learn when it is dispelled, so you could read an entire library in one day, if you could make as many as I can. But when you release them do them in small bunches. Too many, and you get a headache or pass out from all the knowledge, but it helps greatly with chakra control. Ino tried it, and the first clone looked sick. Naruto said a lot more chakra. Put as much as you can into it. Ino closed her eyes, and concentrated before doing the seals again, and when she opened her eyes 200 clones were there. Naruto smiled, and said well done. If you want to make more, and get stronger, have them do what mine is doing. Ino nodded, and told her clones what to do. Naruto said after I get paid I am going to buy some weights to help my stamina and speed. You want some? Ino thought for a moment, and said yeah I think I will, but won't it cost more than you have to buy that many weights, as you used to carry? Naruto said I am going to buy some quick release weights, and since Zero-Sanin taught me sealing I can put chakra seals on them. Ino smiled, and said boy, by the time we get done we will be unstoppable. Naruto smiled, and said yeah, I can't wait. Anyways let's go, and practice sparring for now, and we will dispel our clones after we are done. Naruto got into the hummingbird style like he learned his dad's style. Ino got into the tiger style which she was remembering from Nibis memories. Naruto said I don't recognize that style. Ino thought for a moment, and said I remember it from Nibis's memories. It's called tiger style. My body naturally got into it for some reason. Naruto thought for a moment, and switched his style, and said I can recall this style also. It's called fox style. Let's try it out. Ino nodded, and together they charged at each other. Thanks for watching my video.